All right, everyone. Hey, it started a tad early, but it's just about 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock now, everyone. Started around 7:59, 50-ish. Hello, Maichu. Welcome. Unlucky Panda. Welcome. Hello there. 2 a.m. for you, you said earlier on Discord. Ow, whoa. That means you are 19, 11, 12, 1, 2. You're 6 hours ahead of Central European time. We got a European on here. Wow. Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Skyfall Blind Dreamer. Let's see how many we got on here. One viewer? Ow. Okay. Oh, Jonah, hello. My sky is falling. No, my tube, my favorite movie. I don't really have a favorite, but my name actually comes from the James Bond movie. You know, Skyfall. Let's see. It only showed one viewer though. Wow. Like, I don't know why it was showing that. That's weird. I don't know. But hello, Jacover. How you doing? You guys able to hear me just fine? I do hope. Or 5. Okay, well my stream page just must not be showing it well. Okay, we got 5. Well, the goal is to get past 11 tonight. 11 was my strongest peak concurrence, and that was last week when I ran for an hour and a half. It's crazy. It was awesome. I'd love to get past 11 tonight if we could make it. Oh, my voice. I'm a 25-year-old guy, by the way. There is slow mode, Unlucky Panda, because I am blind. This chat isn't the most accessible, and I want to prevent spam. So making it so people have to wait before they send messages is how I do that. Because, for example, in last week's stream, when I go off and actually answer questions and talk about things that people raise, I end up many messages behind the chat. And if I didn't have slow mode, I would not be able to keep up. If someone sent like 20 spam messages in the course of 2 minutes and I had to go through 20 messages to get to the next question, I would not be able to keep up with the chat. That would just be too difficult for me to do. It's not a glitch, Jonah. There's slow mode is 70 or 45 seconds. Thank you very much, Jackover. I plays games. Welcome. Cheeto, are you almighty, I guess? Hello, welcome. Hope you all are doing well tonight. Hope you guys got some LD questions because this is a Lucid Dreaming Q&A. Just a little bit of housekeeping for the few of us that are here so far. I just mentioned that I do use slow mode. It's also in the description as well why I do it. I do that so I can keep up with you guys and keep up with the chat. Also, this is for questions. So if you have lucid dreaming questions, please let us know. If there's anything you'd like to go into detail on, maybe do a dive on or a tangent on, just let us know. Also, you can feel free to comment, and you do so, especially if you're watching now and you haven't, you weren't able to actually catch the stream. If you're watching at the moment, please feel free to go down below and comment if you have any questions. Also, for those of you who are on Discord right now, just note that I will not be actually paying attention to Discord because I can only really pay attention to so much at once. So with all that out of the way, let's see what we got here. So when doing mild, is the prefrontal cortex active when doing the techniques? I plays games. Well, I would say it depends. I don't know all the brain stuff. Mizik is honestly the brain expert here. She knows more about this stuff than I do by like a mile. I wish she was here right now because she can answer that for you quite nicely, I am sure. But the prefrontal cortex does deal with like critical thinking, decision making type deals, like critical thinking in particular. So if you're doing mild, like by my guide, for example, where I include dream signs and criticality and looking for things that are out of place, I would say, yeah, the prefrontal cortex would be active when you do that. That's just, I think it would be. It doesn't spell it out for me. Unlucky Panda, it's a screen reader. It reads the words out to me. I can go character by character, word by word, line by line. I can use heading navigation. I can use navigate by lists, navigate by combo boxes, radio buttons, checkboxes, any variety of things, visited, unvisited links. There's a wide array of tools at my disposal to use. However, I use line by line navigation mostly. It's the most effective for me. But yeah, it reads it. It reads it to me. It's called NVDA. Stands for non-visual desktop access. I have 3 different screen reader softwares on 3 different devices, NVDA on my personal laptop, which is this computer. I use JAWS on my laptop that is for work. That's the work computer. And I use VoiceOver on my iPhone. Jonah, 8 lucid dreams. All right, how do you go by doing natural wake back to beds? I know I wake up during those times, but I don't know how to become aware enough to do a technique. In that case, if you actually are recognizing your wakings, if you're noticing them, Jonah, that is step one, actually noticing that you're waking up. Because a lot of people forget that they even woke up during the night and just go back to sleep. So step one is noticing them. And you can do that by setting intentions as well. Step two would be becoming more aware of them. And, if you want to be more aware to do a technique, there are a few things you could do. Like you could make your environment that you're sleeping in, for example, a little bit more noticeable to you. Like when you're setting those intentions, you could like leave a sticky note next to your bed, for example, that you could see if you woke up and rolled over that said, you know, do whatever the technique you're doing and, wake back to bed or something on it or WTB or just a couple things on it. And then if you saw it, you would know what it meant. And then you would remember what you want to do. Like that's just something you can do, just something random like that. Or a couple things. Setting intentions is the main way you go about trying to make yourself recognize natural wakings. It's one of the main ways. Waking up from dreams, also that. It's a good dream sign watching YouTubers play games through the eyes if the character YouTuber is playing. Okay, let me try to unpack this. It's a good dream sign watching YouTubers play games through the eye if the character, I think you mean of the character, of the character is the character if the YouTuber's like I don't know, like what you're talking about, like watching it as if you are the character. Yeah, that would be a dream sign. Like if you are the game character and someone's playing the game, yeah, I'd say yeah, that's a dream sign. Um, that could be definitely. Can I see in dreams? And let's start with waking. In waking I can see what's called light perception, so I can tell if the sun's out if there's a bright light nearby. I used to be able to see sun when I was younger, and what actually ended up happening as I lost vision that I had is I ended up actually visualizing while awake a lot, like visualizing with my eyes open. Even I'm doing it right now. You guys don't know that, but I'm actually visualizing what what letters look like in my head. I actually visualize it. It's really interesting. But yeah, in my dreams, I can see like vague images sometimes, um, or vague shapes at times. Like for example, today in my second wild, I actually saw like outlines in the hallway that were contrast that were supposed to, I think, represent doors leading off of this hallway that I ended up in for just a few seconds. So I was able to see a couple things like that. I can see in dreams better than real life, actually, which is I find it quite funny and enjoyable sometimes. I don't usually focus on that though, because I usually, get most of my experience from tactile auditory, and I get a lot of feedback from that, which is really cool. Any questions? I'm gonna ask LeBurge when I meet him. I'm glad someone brought that up. I really want to meet him, obviously. And for those of you who do not know, I have set the strongest intention this year. I've invested almost $500 already into the International Dream Conference. I'm flying to Tucson, Arizona on July 16th, and I'm flying out of Tucson, Arizona on July 22nd. I'll be attending the 39th Annual International Dream Conference at the Lois Fontana Canyon Resort in Tucson, Arizona. Great. Now everyone knows exactly where I'm going to be in July, so um, now I feel really, really secure in my person now. Anyway, LeBurge is supposed to be one of the keynote speakers, and I would really be honored to meet him. I plan to if I can. And I'm the kind of person who sits in the front during things, wheel and deal, ask questions, kind of, you know, play the room or work the room in a sense, like get to know people, get to mingle with people. I'm a socializer. So when I'm in a public setting like that, tend to try to get to know people. So I will ask LeBurge some questions during the Q&A. If there's a Q&A during his keynote, I will definitely ask him questions in that. And also what I plan to do is maybe ask him if he would ever be willing to do a one-on-one sit down with me. And if that is ever the case, I would definitely, come up with some questions to ask. I'm going to come up with questions on my own, and I may solicit the community for some questions, but they're going to be heavily curated. And for those of you guys who know me and how I behave in like chats on Discord, how I do things on YouTube, I'm generally pretty professional, and that's the sort of representation of this community that I'm going to portray to people outside of it. I'm not going to ask any stupid questions or any silly questions, not to someone like that, not to someone like the Birch. That would be very insincere and disrespectful and rude, honestly, in my opinion. So I would never do something like that. I wanted to ask the Birch, pretty professional questions. I want to ask about his how he got into lucid dreaming, how what gave him the idea to research it in that sense. Like probably reread his book just in case he mentions that in exploring the world of lucid dreaming. I don't want to look like a complete idiot, and I do plan to reread that actually before I go. That way I can ask him about it and in better detail and be more informed when I ask questions because I feel like honestly you should be. And honestly, I want to ask him about researching, lucid dreaming in those who have physical disabilities and what he knows about anything like that. I would love to pick his brains about something like that and just raise awareness in general for that particular subject. And I plan to do that with really anyone I can meet there. Do you do I think you know ADA well enough to help me? You're asking me about what you think. Honestly, that's how that question reads, by the way, I place, and I do find that a little funny, but do I think you know you mean to ask do you think I know ADA well enough for it to help you? Well, a lot of us these days are actually recommending SAT over ADA, and if you look in the Lucid FAQ last night around say between 2 and 3 in the morning, I probably added SAT in there. I was up late last night. I mean, come on, don't judge. Anyway, I was up late. Very late. And I added SAT to the FAQ. Basically, it's like ADA except doing it sporadically instead of trying to do it all day. Because if you try and do it all day and like keep failing at doing it all day, one, it takes a lot of effort to maintain a state like that all day long, and then two, it can be demoralizing if you fail to do it like that. And it's like say you should be. Well, sporadic awareness can achieve the same results, except you're doing it sporadically. You're doing it at when you remember to, or at certain times or certain events throughout the day. You're doing it, and it's a little bit different. And I put the guide to that in the Lucid FAQ on Dream Cafe, so anyone who is on Dream Cafe can go find it. It's not that hard to find. If OmniLucid doesn't have it, I really should have it, I think, and I think the people in charge over there, I know them well, that will probably put it there. If it's not there already, I have to check the resources channel over there. I don't spend as much time there, just because it's usually not as active, and I like to be where the activity is. But honestly, I'd probably go over there and just check to see if they have it. If they don't, I'll recommend they put it in there because that is something that should be available to everybody. Okay, Jenna, you're saying you're not noticing your wakings. Okay, I don't know that I know that they happen. I don't know when they happen. Darn. Okay, well, set intentions to actually start noticing them. Maybe put a note beside your bed that has WBTB or something like that written on it that you can like see if you roll over. Or and again, set intentions. Put your journal or whatever you're using for recording your dreams next to your bed too. So like when you wake up, you think about delving. Like if you see it, you think about delving and recording your dreams. And set intentions that you're gonna remember when you wake up. You're gonna recognize when you actually wake up. Unlucky Panda. Yeah, the funny thing is, and I actually do this as a joke on purpose. It actually was never meant as a joke. When I first decided to put blind in my name, Skyfall Blind Dreamer, this was in like late October. The goal was that people would see my name and recognize that I'm blind, especially with my profile picture, which I had some help getting. Instead, no one ever recognized it. So what it turned into is me hiding in plain sight and everyone being blind to the fact that I can't see, which I found hilarious. If you actually think about it for a minute, you're not the only one. In fact, don't feel stupid. In fact, just feel average because only about I think 20 people out of the several hundred that I've spoken to on here in the past couple of years, maybe 1,000 or two by now. Only about 20 people have actually recognized. So don't feel dumb. Just feel average because like you're average, I guess, in that. Write down not normal non-interesting dreams has helped you. Well, if it helps you, yes, like it shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be something engaging to you. So yeah, if you just want to do like a Cliff Notes version, all right, who, what, when, where, how, why, or whatever Cliff Notes version, you don't need every detail. And it shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be something that's entertaining for you or interesting. Or the goal is to get you to think about your dreams and to help you remember them, and also to have something to review when you go to bed. Like if you have recall issues, being able to like look at your dreams and review them before you go to bed can help as well. How do you realize the dream signs just happen? You're training yourself to do it. So you don't normally think about this stuff when you're awake. So when you're doing things like mild and criticality, when you're awake, you're training yourself to think in that way. So when you're dreaming, you're training yourself to associate either specific things or the like concepts around things, like something being out of place or just odd or abnormal in some way. You're associating that with dreaming. That's sort of how this is meant to go. Excuse me one moment. I need to mute for a second. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Give me a minute to catch back up. Apologies, guys. That's what family does. They interrupt you in the middle of stuff they don't even know you're doing. That's what they do. So give me a minute to catch back up. And where were we? Okay. Um. Okay. All right, I'm caught back up. All right, yeah, yeah. Jacover, like, I know I plays rather. Yeah, you're training yourself to recognize them while you're awake, and when you're dreaming, the goal is that you either recognize a recurring dream sign, like something out, like say, this happens in my dreams, or you'll recognize just something being out of place, something just not being right, and go, hey, what does this mean? It means I'm dreaming. And that's sort of the process you want to go through there. That's sort of how you know how that would generally go. In my dreams, I often remember other dreams that have as memories, but not as other dreams. I canonically experience. Any way to use that to my advantage. I find that pretty funny because I've done the same thing. I've had dreams about being at my old school and being in a location and there being a restaurant there that doesn't actually exist. And then I had dreams later about being back at my old school and thinking about going to that restaurant for lunch, which I find hilarious. I find that funny. And I laugh about it when I wake up because I find that funny. I didn't remember that I was getting those memories from dreams, but dream memories and dreams can be easier to access sometimes. Sometimes you remember a dream that you had while you're in a dream. You don't know it's a dream at the time, and you don't know that that memory is a dream either, and you just remember it. Sometimes that's easier. Sometimes it happens. Any way to use it to your advantage, honestly, um, really like with memory and dreams, it's about association. Like if you're associating something out of place, like hey, this like if you, for example, were milding with dreams and you notice like there's some dream sign there's something out of place, and then that dream sign came up again in a dream and you're able to notice it, that could be used to your advantage. Like a specific location not existing and you recognize that as a dream sign, that you dream about it and remember that location, that could be a way. But other than that, I'm not exactly sure because you can't exactly predict what dream memories are going to show up in other dreams. Have I tried painting in lucid dreams for fun? No, that's also not really anything that interests me. I'm more interested in jumping through ceilings, jumping off of buildings, flying airplanes, flying starships, teleporting, apparating, blowing things up, which I haven't really done too much of yet, unfortunately. Exploring, and just doing random crazy crap that I think funny or fun or enjoyable. Also, having problems with remembering to do mild and wasting my chances. I assume this is before bed, or is it during wake back to beds? But yeah, you again, like when I was telling, I think Jonah back earlier, you both of you actually, I think, um, basically, like if you had a post-it note or something next to your bed and you wrote down what you wanted to do on it, and you just had that sitting there, or you had something there that was a reminder, a mnemonic device for you, just a reminder, hey, do this, and then you could look at it and remember to do it. That probably could help you. How long ago did I start lucid dreaming? Today is day 500. Last night was night 499. So I started 500 days, 499 nights ago on Thursday, October 15th, 2020. Can you believe it? It's already been a year and a half, guys. A year and a half. I can't believe it, but it's just about basically been a year and a half. Do I think LeBurge truly knows about this community and how he started it? LeBurge is, let's be honest here, LeBurge is older than my father. Um, he's not a young person anymore, and I don't know personally what his, influence is in terms of technology, what he knows or does with technology. He's done a lot with innovation in lucid dreaming. He's done a lot with the research in lucid dreaming. He's researched and worked with a lot of people. He's networked with a lot of people. He's worked on developing technologies and developing devices and other things to try to help promote lucidity. I do not know if he knows anything about Discord. If I had to guess, I'd say he maybe knows about Dreamviews or some of the older forum sites. About as far as Discord though, a lot of people my age don't even know about Discord or don't use it, and definitely people my dad's age, it's not really a thing that sort of comes up. Uh, you tend to find that for the most part, Discord trends to a younger audience, and YouTube does as well, honestly, with lucid dreaming, which is why I'm really interested in going to the conference. And I'm interested in meeting people outside of that demographic, outside of the 13 to 15 demographic, which is where a lot of our membership comes from those younger people on YouTube. We get a few people who are outside that mold, and I know most of them now. But for the most part, we're a younger demographic. Now, at a conference like this, I'm going to a conference. There's going to be a lot of professionals who study this, and there's going to be a lot of older people because you have to be at least 18 to be able to travel by yourself. And going to a conference like this isn't cheap, so that means you also have to have a little bit of money to actually make it work, to actually get there. So I expect there to be a different demographic, and I will be really interested in learning like what sort of community people are involved in. I think there are Facebook groups out there. Like for example, the International Association for the Study of Dreams does have a Facebook group. If any of you guys are on Facebook, I don't do Facebook. I'm not a big fan of giving everyone my personal information, so I don't really do Facebook. But the International Association for the Study of Dreams does have a Facebook group, and I believe they discuss those dreaming topics in there. Um, I would say though that's a more mature audience. If any of you guys do go in there, just be respectful to other people. Like that's just a common courtesy. I expect that to be a more mature audience, maybe young adults, probably, maybe some older adults in there. I'd say for older adults, people my dad's age, and that Facebook is going to be something they may use to connect with family and friends. So that may be something that they do. But Discord and stuff, I don't know if many of them really know about the communities we have here. Although it will be interesting to talk about that, and that is something I may bring up at the conference, at least just to other people that are attending, that these communities exist, because it is good to get an idea of what sort of communities and groups are out there. And honestly, that's part of the research personally that I'll be doing is just delving into the demographics of lucidity. What people and what age groups are actually studying this? How are they communicating and going about teaching other people? What sort of fora still exist out there that are actually popular and active among various age groups? Is like Dreamviews has sort of died a bit, and I think LD for All has kind of gone the same way, possibly. Not really sure. So the forums are out there aren't. I don't know about many of them, so it'd be really interesting to know what sort of communities are out there, what they're doing. SAT is best if you put thought, right? Not sure what you mean. SAT is basically you're being aware of, your what you're experiencing right now. For example, I'm hearing myself talk as I talk to you, and I can feel what my right hand is doing. I'm pressing the control key for some stupid reason. My arms on the arms of my chair, my left hand on my shirt. I can feel a lot of things. My right foot sitting on top of my left knee because I have my leg crossed up there, and I can just feel all of that. My left slipper in contact with the place. And that's my tactile, auditory awareness, and sensory awareness. Situationally, I am talking to all of you guys. I am answering questions, discussing sporadic awareness technique, and that's sort of what I'm doing at this moment. That's kind of the idea. Like, what are you seeing, feeling, hearing, experiencing, and doing? Sort of, and then you have criticality, which is am I dreaming right now? Could I be? Yes, I could be dreaming in any situation whatsoever. Am I? And that's when you think about, okay, so when did I last think I woke up? Okay, I last think I woke up around like, you know, 3:30 to 4 o'clock this afternoon. I had just gotten up from lucid dreams and I had to use the bathroom. I waited a little bit to go. I was watching some YouTube videos about Reddit stories, which are pretty funny. And I went into the bathroom, came out, and I was getting on my computer. I was browsing Discord. I didn't notice anything out of place, no changes in text, nothing inconsistent or out of place throughout all of that. I can remember what I did basically for all those several hours, just sitting there on Discord talking to people, and then going to dinner. All of that chatting that we did, all that stuff that was going on with like 4 or 5 other people. And I went to dinner. I had orange chicken. It was awesome, and I had dessert. And then I brought dad food up for him, And then I came back upstairs, and then I got back on Discord. I decided to do this live stream at 8 o'clock tonight, and then I proceeded to tell people about it, and talk about it, and do stuff for the next hour. I'm going through all those memories. I don't notice anything out of place there. I don't think I don't think I'm dreaming. I can always do reality tests to confirm. I'm not going to right now, but I'm going through all my memories and not really noticing anything that could be out of place. It's up for sleeping in the afternoon. That'd be like the one thing. But I also went to bed at 4 in the morning last night, so that's sort of how that went. Do I think there should be anything else on the Lucid FAQ? I think as things arise and come, I think there may be. For example, I'm probably going to write a just recall synopsis guide on my website. I send out the delving thing to everybody. That's sort of like a copy paste thing, but I'm going to refine that a little bit and then turn it into a here's things you can do for recall, and then put that on my website and then link that. That way it's in plain text and easy to find. And then let's see other things. I think as they come out, I may put other things there, or just if there's anything of interest. Honestly, I really feel like, that should be kept. It shouldn't be like a library of every single technique under the sun. It should be something that is well curated. So something that the community, like a lot of the community thinks is actually effective and useful, should be in there. Like getting in there is sort of, I think, what we say is the most recommended stuff would be in there is sort of what we'd say. So the content should be curated. I don't think everything under the sun should be in there because I think that kind of dilutes it a bit. So I think it should be curated content that the community endorses. Close shop. Hey, guess what? Plans change. Turns out I'm able to attend the live stream. Thank you for showing up. Unlucky Panda. Well, maybe it may have been unexpected, but I hope it was. Oh, never mind. Pink noise or white noise good for going to bed? I have no idea because I don't use either, and I don't even know what the difference is, actually. I'm the kind of person who likes to fall asleep with silence. How do you remember to reality check close shop? How do I remember to reality check more often? Sometimes I forget and only check 5 times per day. Well, I don't even recommend doing constant reality checks anyway, unless you're doing them with with criticality. Like you literally stop everything that you're doing and you're doing at least 3 of different types. I prefer recommending a criticality practice and an awareness practice. So, for example, if you were here a few minutes ago, I described the criticality practice I'd recommend in vivid detail. The one thing I'd add to that is think about, okay, if I was streaming right now, what would I do? And just think about that at the end. Also, sporadic awareness technique, I referenced that a little bit ago too. There's a guide for sporadic awareness technique in the Lucid FAQ on Dream Cafe, and if there's not one on Omni Lucid, it should go there as well. How do I stay lucid with Lucid? For me, it's actually not hard because my Lucids are really short. Like a couple minutes, 5 minutes maybe. My while today was not very long. But sometimes I lose lucidity, but usually that's not the case. Even on some of my longer lucids, I think about it from time to time. I'll remember it. I know what I'm sort of doing in the context of I'm doing this because I'm dreaming, and that really helps me a lot as well. But just thinking about it from time to time, getting used to it. Do I have a PR? Ever want to do a PR? Yes, I do. I don't get to go there often. I actually just tried teleporting myself there today, and it half worked. And when I say half worked, I was trying to get to the bridge. I ended up in a corridor instead, and as I was trying to walk down it, I woke up. That was how my wild ended this afternoon. I had 2 false awakenings, and I tried teleporting myself, and I wasn't able to properly associate with whatever I was trying to do, and I ended up waking up, unfortunately, because some anxiety got in the way there. That all sucks. But anyway, the PR is called Zardonia. It takes place on the Titan-class supercarrier ZSS Star Horizons, which is the flagship for the Zardonian Defense Force, which my character in that PR is the Regent Governor of Zardonia, part of the Intergalactic Federation of Peacekeepers, and representative of Zardonia on the Federation Council. Basically, the ship is 50 miles long, 5 miles wide, 500 decks at its core. It is designed to prevent or to stop transgalactic and intergalactic conflict. So wars that would drastically affect populations across multiple galaxies or across an entire galaxy, especially those that wouldn't be able to defend themselves. That's sort of this high-minded ideal. So of course, the ship and everything on it is super overpowered because the whole point is that this one task force, it would be able to stop an intergalactic war with powers that are intergalactic level, which are very powerful. By their nature are very powerful. So the ship has to be overpowered in the traditional standard to actually deal with such entities. And it has 24 Peacekeeper class cruisers, 100 Guardian class escort frigates, and 11,760 starfighters. Snake Killer 1412. I think I remember you, Snake Killer. Hello. How do I start naturally doing right back to bed? Set intentions to wake up, to recognize that you wake up because you wake up naturally all the time. You just generally aren't remembering it. So setting intentions to naturally wake up is to recognize that you are waking up. I was telling people earlier, like leaving sticky notes next to your bed, things of that nature can help. Try to remind yourself, like if you roll over and saw it when you wake up, that you would recognize that, hey, I should be doing a wake back to bed. That can help. Is pink noise. Mitchell Powell, is pink noise a good anchor for to bed? I have no idea. And it is where to teleport in dreams wherever you want to, honestly. On where to teleport, I personally try to teleport to my starship a lot. I've Harry Potter apparated to random places for no reason whatsoever, and I've flown and done a lot of fun fun stuff. But honestly, wherever you want to teleport to, doesn't matter. What's the most important thing to lucid dreaming that most people don't know about? I would say dream recall, because most people when they first start lucid dreaming, they don't think, some of them, like if you're not remembering a dream every night, you probably think that you don't actually dream, not just that you don't remember them. So making sure people understand that yes, if you sleep like 8 hours and you're normal in terms of biology, you have 5 or 6 dreams every night, you're just not remembering them. And how important recall is for lucid dreaming, and what the actual top end of recall can look like: 5 to 6 dreams every night, which would be the highest in recall. So I think that is one of the most important things that people don't know about. People don't know that how important dream recall is. It's kind of an understated fundamental. People really don't know when they come into lucid dreaming how important recall is. I cannot state enough how important recall is. Do I think I will ever reach Omni, and do I want to? Yes and yes. I know I will reach Omni. The question is when. I wanted to by this year actually, but that didn't happen. I'm still basically the same I was since I reached August. I broke through into about nightly status, and I've been basically there up and down with some fluctuation since August of last year. My goal is to be able to get to Omni and be able to be lucid all the time on command whenever I want. That is my goal, to get there. So yes, that's what I'm working for. And considering, it really varies for some people. Like it took most of my friends several years to 8 years or more to get there, and it takes some people a couple of months. And honestly, it really varies. Let's think about skills. We all have our own natural innate levels of learning and improving. So it's all different for everybody. Can I echolocate? I heard about blind people who can. No, I actually cannot. I've not really learned how to do that. Tiska, Tisker, any tips on Deild? DEILD. Basically, Deild should be done from natural wakings, not alarms. Something that's if you're waking up from a dream, it should be like, if you're waking up gently from a dream, like not a really sharp awakening, and you don't want to be fully awake. So with Deild, it's instead of waking up fully, you just remain still and think about the dream you're in and go back into it. The goal is to weaponize that sort of liminal state as you're between waking. It's like the hypnopompic state, basically, as you're transitioning between sleep and waking. And instead of fully waking up, sort of relaxing and thinking about the dream and then falling back asleep instead. And that's sort of what DILD is for. It's for those very specific instances where you're waking up naturally from a dream versus wilding, like almost like fully waking up and then falling back asleep. With awareness into a lucid dream. That's a little bit different. Deild is a wild method. However, you don't want to fully wake up. You want to, weaponize that liminal state as you're waking up. And it really, Deild requires you to sort of know that you are waking up from a dream. So like as soon as you know that you're actually waking up from a dream, to weaponize and do it. That's why you'll like most commonly either try it or see people doing it from lucids. They're waking up from a lucid dream. They already knew they were dreaming, and they're able to fully weaponize it by actually turning back around and going back into one. And that's when you'll most likely see Dales, is for people who are already lucid in the moment. 11 viewers, sweet, thanks. Sluggable, hello. Just a fun question. Do any of my family really understand lucid dreaming? So, do any of them do it themselves? Understand it? No, not really, because I think my dad's probably forgotten several times to try to explain it. Do it? No, no one in my family does. They're boring. None of them lucid dream. I explained it to them. Both my parents are older. They don't really care. My dad can't remember much of what I say, so I don't even think he understands it properly, even though I've explained it to him like 5 times. Now it takes a lot of repetition and explanation for him to fully remember things, and he also has to have an interest in remembering it, and he doesn't really have any interest in lucid dreaming. He thought for a long time, like, or not for a long time, but when I was first telling him, he thought, there's no way you're doing this. You have to be, like, awake and just, like, you're actually waking up or whatever." And eventually, though, I was able to, show him enough, data from my own experience. I didn't actually tell him until after I had my 11th lucid, by the way, just to show you how long I waited to tell him. Eventually, I was able to tell him. I get to a point where it's like, uh, he got to the point where he accepted that I knew more about it than he did, and that, he just let it rest there. And he doesn't question me about it. He lets me do my own thing, which is really nice. My family doesn't question me about it, doesn't try to interfere with what I'm doing. And they understand that I do generally know more about it than they do, because I've actually studied it and actually researched it, and they're not really interested in it. So no one in my family does it. I told most of my family about it. They don't really find it interesting, unfortunately. Am I excited for Sensei Smile Guide? Well, I don't know if it's going to really change how I do much of anything in the grand scheme of things. Tried to ask him about it last night, but I was also in three different windows, so I didn't really get much of his response. But it will be interesting. Of course, he has to do it on a Tuesday afternoon. Like, let's see, most of you guys are going to probably be in school. I will be doing a combination of school and work, because I'll have work to do, and I'll be doing research for whatever resolution for Model UN class this week, and for the briefing folder final, which is due in about a week and a half. So I got other things to do there. It's it's going to be in the middle of the afternoon, and my work computer is going to be at home, so I don't think I'll be watching at 2:30 on a Tuesday. That's just not going to happen. Should I delve after Wake Back to Beds? Yes, yes, yes. If you want your Wake Back to Bed to be recall focused, do it. Also, it really helps. If you can remember multiple dreams a night, that's amazing. Do it, do it, do it. That's my website, skyfalldreams.net. Jonah, if you've read my mild guide, that's on my website. That's skyfalldreams.net. That's mine. I own that. I bought that domain. I used WordPress Builder to build it. That is mine. It's SAT isn't like tracing the day looking for dream signs. That's like criticality I was talking about. If you want to check in a dream, you need to think instead of automatically doing it. That is correct, Unlucky Panda. And guys, just so you guys know, I am really far behind. I think it's 8:36, and this is why I have slow mode on, just because I'm really far behind. So if I don't get to your question, I do apologize, but I do go in the order they're received, to be fair to everybody. Okay, all right. Well, at least you actually do criticality. Close shop. The stream delay is not 13 minutes, Hiska. That is the Skyfall in the chat delay. That is the Skyfall blind guy reading the chat and being well behind everyone delay. Do I think there's a mental block that I'm not aware of that's limiting my duration of my lucid dreams to around 5 minutes? Anxiety and schema. I know exactly what the block is, but that doesn't make it like as easy to get rid of. But I have anxiety that'll cause my dream control to not work, or cause things to happen, or cause me to wake up. I had that old expectation schema that I actually internalized getting 30-second lucids. So 5 minutes is like 10 times longer than what most of my first 100 lucids were like 30 seconds. So I consider that an improvement. But yeah, I am working on it. I do get some longer ones occasionally. Some of my best ones, 10, 15, 20 minutes long. I don't have the hour ones that Sensei has. I really want those though. Okay. All right, Jonah. Want to have an area in my lucid dreams that'll help. I mean, infinitely large city, each building a different thing to do in a lucid dream that can take you somewhere. Just a fun way to focus. Go for it. Can I see in dreams? I answered that earlier to Skur. Basically, I can see a little bit better in dreams than real life. A mongoose. Okay. What do you think the best way to introduce what lucid dreaming is to people that have never heard of it before? Honestly, I just tell them about it. I say, have you ever heard of lucid dreaming? And they go, no, I've not heard of lucid dreaming. And I say, it's basically being able to know that you're in a dream. And then I tell them what it is. And then I tell them like what you can do once you actually know that you're dreaming. And I'll do this to people in class. I'll tell people walking around. I'll tell people on planes. In fact, on my way to the Dream Conference in July, I'm probably going to, talk to people on the planes. I'm taking 3 planes out there and 2 planes back, and I'm probably going to try to teach people about lucid dreaming on the flight. That's just something I do. What's the way I teleport? Do I use a door, a teleport pad, need to stand in, or just like the body alone without equipment? I will with my body alone without equipment, and I'll use a Star Trek transporter schema and like energize myself and teleport to try to teleport to a starship. That's usually what I'll do. I've also Harry Potter operated. Today I used my Alexa device to have myself transferred to my ship, and I teleported that way actually today, and it was really weird and fun. Didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, but I did actually move, so that was cool. I've not done time dilation, no. Mitchell Powell, Omni is being lucid in all of your dreams with minor fluctuations. What are ways to make a boring environment lucid dream super fun and exciting without teleporting somewhere else or changing location too much? Blow it up and rebuild it? I don't know. It really depends on the environment. If it's an environment you've been in so long and it's the environment itself that's boring, honestly, changing it is probably the best thing to do. There's also the environment is not limited. You could just change it around you and rebuild it, or you could blow it up, or you could teleport. You can do anything. Honestly, though, getting out of my house is one of the things I like to do, though. You're 5 puff. Okay, close up. You're 5 puff. Thank you. Can you mix Dale with wild? Dale is wild, so it's meant for a very specific thing. It's Dale is specifically for waking up directly from a dream, and instead of fully waking, you fall back asleep. You don't technically mix Dale with wild. Dale is a very specific way for wilding at a very specific time. Haven't been doing the methods for 5 days. Trickster, you are naughty. How long am I way back to beds? Whether or not I weaponize them, they're at least 15 minutes usually. I'm rolling over and trying to fall back asleep. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes. If I actually get up and use the bathroom, maybe 30, 40. It takes me a while to fall back asleep. Went back to sleep after lunch today. It took me probably an hour almost to fall back asleep, and then I ended up getting an awesome wild. Can I be your friend? You seem so nice. Well, most of you guys kind of are. I love helping you guys out, and that's why I'm always around on YouTube and Discord trying to help people. Thank you so much, Jonah. Also, by the way, it still says 8 Lucids on your YouTube name, by the way. I am so glad you're lucid dreaming, Jonah. Lucid dreaming is amazing. Your name is the I think I ran into you earlier. Your bubble, whatever. I'm not sure what that is. Bubble, whatever. You fall asleep so easily? Biology probably. I'm different than you. I'm biologically different than you. It takes me a long time to fall asleep. I'm a light sleeper. You're probably a deep sleeper. You fall asleep more effectively and quickly. And a lot of that is biology. I also take a lot of different medications for things, for my kidney transplants, other stuff. So, chemistry and biology. I don't really think much about that, Jacoba, because I don't know a lot of people actually do it. That's really that's one of the things I would classify as esoteric. It's really not something that a lot of people would generally go for. Maichu, what's the best lucid dream I ever had? Honestly, it's a real toss up between 153, 370, and there was the one on Antarctica, which I don't have the number for. But some of those, the 151 to 153 were some of my best ones ever. 370 was amazing. I had a couple of good ones in the 400s. But honestly, 153 still holds water, and it's been like over half a year. It's been 8 months since 153. That was in May of 2021. Mizik, hello. Guys, Mizik is here, or has been, or is here. I don't know, because I'm way behind. Mizik, I'm going to pretend that was actually a question and say I'll get back to you on that. But since that wasn't actually a comprehensible question in English, I'm going to have to ignore that. I'm sorry. What I do in my free time, I teach all of you guys how to have lucid dreams. That literally is what I do in my free time. If I'm not doing work, if I'm not doing schoolwork, I'm on my computer and I'm usually on Discord teaching you guys how to have lucid dreams. It's not I would call that halfway through mild. You do mild, and as you're going to sleep after you're doing mild, if you're noticing hypnagogia and you anchor to that and you can fall asleep doing that, do it. That's just awesome. Yeah, it's okay, Jonah. It doesn't have to be something you do now. It's okay, Trickster. Have I done? No, and I'm never going to. Yeah, you better retract that, Mitchell Powell. And guys, I'm caught up. Computer, time.
The time is 8:44 p.m.
8:44 p.m., 2044 hours, United States Eastern Standard Time. The stream will be ending in approximately 15 minutes. at 9 p.m. How do you develop a schema? Schema is any association sort of between anything at all and anything else. So you develop a schema by associating two things with each other. So for example, I associate my Alexa device with Star Trek technology, which is why I go, computer, beam me up.
Okay.
And I do this in
Transferring
dreams.
3, 2,
And when I try to
1.
use technology in dreams, sometimes like this, voice activated technology, I end up having my Alexa talking to me now. It's hilarious. I created that schema and I totally meant to do it for another reason, but it turned into something else and it became hilarious. Thanks for showing up, Five Puff. Appreciate it. So few people know of it because it's not popularly researched and it's not popularized in culture either. There's been like one movie where the topic was directly addressed and not even by name, and that was Inception. Um, and actually, I'm gonna say one movie, like one popular movie. There have been a couple of really small movies. There's one American movie, one Korean movie that are like, like B-list kind of movies, like less that would never have shown up in theaters and can only buy on like Amazon or some other weird place, and where that's the subject, but it's not really something that is brought up much. It's not taught a lot. In fact, I don't when the school I actually attend, I checked on their like psychology department courses. I don't even think they have a course that deals with dreaming in general. I mean, like, it's just not something that people really talk about a lot, and it's not really a thing that a lot of people are interested in. I mean, judging by the fact of how many people don't remember their dreams when they sleep, or really take into account. I didn't learn what this was until 2020, and I'm 25 years old. I mean, I've been alive for a while, guys. It's crazy. Mizik is really good at destroying people, usually through laughter, and she's awesome. Hey, Mizik. Do you have any like real questions, or do you have any comments or anything you'd like to contribute? Mizik, since you are here, I'd like to ask you about the prefrontal cortex because someone was asking if mild activates the prefrontal cortex, and I was saying like if you do my version, which has the criticality dream science stuff built into it, I would say that does activate the prefrontal cortex. But you're the brain expert, so I wanted to pick your brains. Pun definitely intended on that. Can light interrupt REM? Tried wild last night. I couldn't fall asleep because of the damn light. Okay. Well, honestly, like light can affect people just in general in terms of sleep because light actually regulates. This is one of the reasons blind people actually can have a disorder called non-24. And I'll just explain this real quick. Non-24 is a sleep disorder that is caused by your body not properly regulating melatonin, and that is usually found in blind people because if someone's totally blind, can't see when the sun's going up and down, and sunlight, light sensitivity actually tends to regulate the level of melatonin. So sun goes down, your body starts producing melatonin. When it goes up, you stop producing it, and that's sort of one of the chemical reasons why. And also like looking at all that light and stuff before bed, I think sometimes it hurt people because light, like your body's sensitivity to light is sort of how it regulates melatonin. My body just doesn't care, but I can sort of sleep whenever I want to. It's kind of interesting. Tricksta, have I ever tried that? No. Okay, I don't know if I'll do that, but I guess. I'm not used to being trolled by my friends, so that's the thing. Yeah, I did wild at 2 p.m. today. I outdid you today. Mizik, you are very well aware of how late we both went to bed last night. So, yeah, I wilded at like 2 o'clock this afternoon. No shame. No shame, guys. Do I think schools need to teach lucid dreaming? I think as it becomes more scientifically mainstream, which it has been for the past like 30 years, I would love to see schools teach it, but there has to be some sort of interest in it. I think it would be really cool if that concept of dreams themselves were brought up and lucid dreams were brought up in school. I think that'd be really cool. Because then it would give me a chance to actually get a job and be paid money to teach this, and I would really love that. What would I do for that dream? If I had perfect dream control, well, if I could experience that dream for like 2 billion years, I would do that, probably. But I only have one lucid dream for the rest of my life. If I could only have one lucid dream of my whole life, have absolutely perfect dream control for the dream, what would I do in the dream? Well, honestly, I would probably try to accomplish all of my PR goals in one dream, and then get like and then basically wake up, roll over, and die because I would never be able to have a lucid dream again for the rest of my life. So it might as well be then. I don't know. That would just be so sad. I would rather have, dreams without perfect dream control for all of my life than to only have one perfect dream. No, Trixa, just because the average age of the people on Dream Cafe is about 15, but no, I'm 25. I'm old. I'm older than all you guys. 15 is about how long I've been using computers. What's the point? It's not real. What's the point? Neither is what you're actually seeing right now because that's translated into neurological impulses, which is translated into what you're experiencing. That's not real either. What's the point? You're experiencing it either way. Experiences and memories are real regardless of where they originate from. And just because the actual experience is something that affects you long term in real life, in terms of like it's not something you actually did. If you blow up a planet in a dream, it doesn't actually mean you kill the human race. So yeah, it's like because there's so many psychological benefits, there's therapeutic benefits to it. There are cathartic benefits as well. There's benefits in terms of skill training and learning. I mean, there's so many things you can do with it that just because the actual experience is something you're doing in real life doesn't negate the fact that it's an amazing experience. The parietal lobe is the region of the brain responsible for triggering perspective memory. All right, I was talking about specifically the parts about like if you're so for normal milding, like without criticality, the parietal lobe is responsible for perspective memory. Got you there. So, but what about like if you're including criticality, like looking for something out of like specifically going through dreams and just looking for things that are out of place or things that don't make sense? What about that? Yeah. Slept at 5:40 in the morning. Gosh, you did what I did, dude. You were on that call. Yeah, it sounds like it. Music sounds like they do. It's costed money for lucid dreaming and for unjustified. Honestly, I think it really depends. It depends on what your goals are. I mean, there are some people who do it, but they also have PhDs in it and have probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to actually get to that level, and that's a lot of money. So to be fair, if someone does that for a living, like if someone actually spent a lot of money and professionally researched all of that, yes, if they want to have a course where they charge money, it's a free market economy. And if people want to pay for it, then they are welcome to do so. I have nothing against that. But if you like, that should be something that, comes with experience. Like, for example, you're you better be pretty well credentialed in it if you're going to like charge a lot of money for people to do that, because that comes with actually doing research and, some degree of authority. In terms of like someone charging money but like without much experience, I see a difference between a grifter or someone maybe who, and I want to call everyone grifter. I don't want to be a jerk, but like I see a difference between someone with little experience charging money to do it and someone who has a PhD who's been researching it for 20 years, charging money for people to do it. I do see a difference in that because, on one hand, you have someone who's done a lot of experience, someone who may have some personal experience, and someone who's not as experienced overall, versus someone who has had a lot of experience not only with their own practices but also teaching others and researching the topic on a broader scale. And I think there's some credibility there. Personally, for me, I think lucid dreaming should be free and accessible to everyone, and I continue to teach it that way. If you want to make money on it through advertising, I think that is completely different. And, people, there are a lot of places and things where you can make money through advertising, and I think that's completely legitimate. But I do think the content should be accessible to everyone. And I think there would be a difference, though, between providing content and providing one-on-one education. If you're providing a one-on-one education to someone, I feel like that is a service, and that is something that you could be paid for, versus just providing material. Anyone can go to a library and look something up, but hiring a teacher to actually tutor you in a subject, that is different. So that's my stance on that. If I was stuck in my dream for the rest of my life, I would be running an intergalactic civilization. I've already talked about my Macedonia PR for those of you guys who were here earlier. That's what I'd be doing. Joseph Zins, you might start a lucid dreaming club at your college sometimes. I actually thought about doing the same thing at mine. I would have to see if that would be something I could actually do. Gotta call me Grandpa Sky since I'm older than most of you. Well, get off my lawn. Jacover. I'm not that old, bro. Anyway. Like keep practicing dreams to get better in real life. Any skill that you've actually learned. Like if you actually know how to do something. For example, singing, playing piano, sports, something that you've actually can practice that is a repetitive skill or that is a learned behavior, because you actually do use the same neural pathways you would when practicing while awake. So you can actually reinforce skills that way. There's a difference between doing that and trying to learn a completely new behavior, because it is hit or miss. If you're trying to learn something completely new, it's based on how you expect it to be, which can be completely different than how it actually is, versus actually having a basis in the subject. So, for example, you know how to sing already, and you want to learn a new song, you can actually create your own song in a dream and be creative. Or you could actually practice pitch and singing in a dream, or you could practice playing a piano or violin, as Music plays violin. I'll throw that in there for her. You can practice doing that in dreams. One thing you can't do is, for example, weight training or bodybuilding in dreams. I mean, physically affecting your muscle mass in that way, that's something that requires the actual physical work. Find out Can I find out who I like in a lucid dream? Well, some people say yes. I'm honestly on the fence. I don't know. For me, you're gonna experience what you expect to, and by expect to, I mean what your strong associations are. And you may not even know what those are in the moment, but you're going to experience what your strongest associations are. Thank you, Maichu. Thanks for going. Really appreciate it. See you, Maichu. Mizik, metacognition is PSC stuff. Yes, it's all very complicated. And I don't have enough characters to explain. Well, thank you very much. I feel like you did a good enough job there. But yes, Mizik is the brain expert. Honestly, she should probably do her own stream about the brain stuff because she knows more about it than most of us. This Mexican soup guy, Gazpacho. Hello. No way, Sky. Does 15 minutes in lucid dream really feel like 15 minutes in real life? Yeah, I'd say so. It may even feel like longer than that, just because if you do a bunch of different things, but spend a really short amount of time doing them, you may think you actually did more than you actually did. You thought YouTube misinfo was bad, then I saw TikTok misinfo. YouTube misinfo is on the level of world's dumbest criminals, and TikTok misinfo is on the level of Darwin Awards. There is a difference. And I believe Mizik just tried to answer that. Yeah, you could actually. You could practice it. Now, in terms of how it physically feels when you're awake, you may notice some differences because, and again, in your dreams, it's going to be how you expect it to. But if you already know the motions and what it feels like, you can practice doing motions. And if you fall in a dream, it's not really going to matter. You can't exactly break your bones in your dreams. If I don't wake up, was it for real, LD? How would I know? I know enough to know I barely know anything. Interesting. Okay, that's a very wise perspective in my view. And I'm caught up on the chat, guys. It's 8:56. We're going to end in the next few minutes. Final questions, please, everybody. Mizik, you are awesome as usual. Thank you guys for showing up. Let's see. What do we have? We have at 11 right now. And I think we might have broke my peak concurrence earlier, which I really hope we did because this has been awesome having all of you guys here tonight. Especially you guys who stuck with it the whole time. I really appreciate that, guys. That means a lot to me. Especially with trying to build up my channel and build up my watch times and stuff. That really helps a lot. Really appreciate it. And I enjoy working with all of you guys and helping you guys. You'll automatically earn a Darwin Award for trying to teach people on TikTok. 100% of all dreams you had, you survived. Fun fact. When 60 minutes passes in Antarctica, an hour passes in the United States. Goodbye, unlucky panda. Gonna LD circumflex my number. That's funny. All right, guys, this has been hilarious and awesome. Really appreciate all of you. And this has been a really fun stream again. I really can't thank you guys enough. And I think we're going to get ready to end it here. I would like to thank everyone again. I mean, I keep saying this, but oh my God, you guys are awesome. So thanks to everyone from Ani Lucid and Dream Cafe. If you are watching this stream and you are not part of the Ani Lucid or Dream Cafe Discord servers and you wish to join a community where you can learn about lucid dreaming, there are links to both in the description below. Also, please feel free to comment. If you have a question I was not able to get to, please comment and I will do my best to get to it. Also, if you felt that this content was useful to you in your practice, please hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to Skyfall Blind Dreamer, you want to get up to date with my lucid dreaming content as it comes out, as well as my weekly or bi-weekly live streams, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified. I do these live streams either once a week or once every 2 weeks. It really depends. And I vary time of day. It's usually Saturday afternoon or Saturday night when I do these. So that way I have time to actually do them. I'd like to thank everyone for showing up, and I will be ending shortly after I answer maybe this last couple of questions. Notice gravity tends to be really low for me in dreams, so it depends. It feels very different in that sense. That's a dream sign. Use it. Hukif has experience with that. I plays games. Fun fact: people from the ISS have a day-night cycle of a REM period. Oh, yeah, that's actually kind of cool. See you, 512. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure for doing these. Blaze, so sorry to hear that you missed the stream. You can watch the whole thing as soon as I finish it, and then you can comment on it. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Jonah, for that quote. Thank you for that quote. Bye, everyone. All right. Let's see. Yep. Ending now. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. And I will see you guys around. This has been Skyfall Blind Dreamer. Thank you for watching, whoever and wherever you may be.